This is Irontrader. This is the last call of the day. So we'll take a look here at Bitcoin, Ethereum ETF, ETHU, gold, silver, crude oil, and natural gas. At the end of the video, the support and resistance levels are posted for crude and natural gas. This video is for information purposes only, not a recommendation to buy or sell stock by ETF. Please like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. All right, here we have Bitcoin, your daily chart. Okay. Now I can see here a nice series of higher highs, but every time it got there, it sold right on off. It's like we had here. Now we had this situation here. There was a sell of 1.5 billion, and we had 22 billion worth of options, and now we're rallied up here very, very nicely. But you notice we put a tweezer top in, and you couldn't close above that 21 day. All right, then we put a lower high in and a lower low. That's the beginning of the end, came all the way on down. Now Friday we had a little bit of relief rally, but you notice that it could not close above this key 8 SMA, and that's going to be very, very key. Now today again went right above the 8 day, but it could not hold it, and then we made a nice lower low. Okay, so downside, what we're watching is we're watching today's low. Okay, so that's at 105,755 level, right? So now if we lose that, then we're going to be looking right here at that 200 day at that 104,318, and then we'll look at the price channel at 103,745 level. Okay, that's what we're looking for here in the near term. Now, again, if we start losing that level, then we'll come right here to the bottom of this candle here. You're looking at 102,425 level. We'll come down to the bottom there at 101,390. We'll come down there at 108,15, and then we'll be looking for this candle right here at that 99.90 level. Okay. Then what we do is we always look there to the top of that candle. You're looking at 98,615, and then we venture down to there at that 97,350. And we have 95.70 level, and then we come right down here, 93.685. Right, then what we do is we just bring these price channels right across here. You're looking at 91.785 level, and then we come over here to the top of that candle. You're looking at that 88.785. Again, but you got to lose this 200 day, and you have to lose that that big retest there of 103.745, which is just the bottom of that candle. Now we look at this. This is nowhere near overbought or oversold. The green is below your red. It shows that we have a downside momentum here. Now, I was listening to this guy that I don't listen to very many guys, but I listened to this guy. His name is Tom Lee, and he was on CNBC. This guy is really, he's predicted this market just absolutely dead on. Now, he's looking for a pullback here in Bitcoin, obviously, which is what we're getting, but he's also looking by the end of the year where you can get a rally, and he's looking at 150 is going to be his target there on Bitcoin, and he's looking on the S&P, he's looking at 7,500 on the S&P here, okay? So this guy's been dead on. As I say, I listen to very few people, but Tom Lee is one of the guys that I do listen to. He's very, very sharp. Okay, so now here on the upside, what we're watching is resistance level is going to be the bottom of the candle, 107,835 level. Okay, then we'll venture up to the bottom there, looking at 109,300 level, and then this is the key right here is that 8 day at 110,589. Now you can see how the 21 day crossed over. That's going to be your next resistance level, 113,349 level. Then we have your basically your 100 day and your 50 day stuck right there about that 113,792 level. That's going to be very, very strong. Now we have to get back above that. Then we can start attacking this level right there. Okay, at that 116,285, and then on top of that level at 116,570. Okay, then we can just venture right on up here until we get the retest. But again, your price is below all the simple moving averages except for that 200 SMA. Now we got to see here if this is going to be a possible double bottom. So always look for patterns. We could have a possible double bottom right here. Okay, so let's just see how this shakes out here as it runs through the day and how it works and after hours when the futures open tonight at 6 p.m. Okay, so what you want to do is just watch today's candle, okay, that 105,755 on the low and that 111,290 there on the high level, okay? If we start losing that, then we look for that 200 day at 104, and then we're looking at that retest at 103,745 level, okay? So that's what we're looking for right now. Upside here, we got to get back above that 8 day, then we can start maybe a run towards that 21 day, the 50 day, and the 200 SMA here. Okay, now again, I just pointed out easy way to short this, but I jumped to the short today. BITI is an easy way to short Bitcoin. Okay, IBIT, that's an easy way to go long, or you can do the 2 times leverage, which is BITX, if you can handle the juice. Okay, let's take a look here at the Ethereum ETF, ETHU. All right, here we have the ETHU ETF. Okay, we had this double top situation, sold right on down, and then we put in a lower high, and now we're just kind of just chunking all over the place here. Okay, so and I can see here today where we got lower. Okay, we're watching that 89.90. That's going to be very, very key. That's that 200 simple moving average. Okay, so now again, if we lose that, then what we want to do is just look right here to the left of the chart. Everything you need to know is right here. Okay, so then you look at the bottom of that candle, 87.62. That's the gap. Then we look to the top of this candle at that 83.97, okay? Gap, and then fill. Then we'll look to the bottom of this candle here, 75.72, there's your gap. And then we look to the top of that candle at 71 flat. There's your fill, okay? Now, if it keeps right on moving down, well, we can go all the way down to that 60.95 area. You got 57.71. 55.71, we come all the way down here to 55.28, and then we can retest this low right down here at that 42.91. But you have to lose that 200-day in order to do that, okay? But again, watch that gap in that fill. Watch that gap in the fill. Now, again, it doesn't always have to go and fill that gap. It can stop right there, and that could be it, and it could come right back up again, okay? So right now, with that low on that gap was 87.62, and today we made a low here of 88.50. So you got pretty close, but you notice now that it's right back here. It's holding that 200-day at 89.90. Now, upside, you want to get right back above that price channel at that 95.65. Then we want to do is we want to look through today's high at 98.42. There's your gap. Then we look to the bottom of that candle right there at that 102.20. There's your fill. And then we have your 8-day at 107.86. And then we have the old Hondo here at 117.51. And then we have your 21-day, 119. And then we have your 50-day sitting there at 134.73. Now you can see how the 50-day rolling over, 21-day rolling over, 8-day rolling over. The only thing that's holding this right now is that key 200 SMA here. So that's got to hold. And if it doesn't, this is going to go lower. So just watch that gap in the fill, the gap in the fill. Okay, now right here, we're not overbought or oversold. This could go lower. Same way with this. So you have the green is below the red. This could definitely go lower. The key is it's got to hold that 21-day or that 200-day. If it doesn't, then this could go much, much lower. So watch that gap in that fill, and you can even come down to that retest down there at that 50, 70, 42, 91 level. All right, let's take a look here now at gold and silver. All right, gold and silver, I took no trades in either one of these today. There was really not a whole lot. Okay, we had this bear flag situation, came right on down, never made it to the 50-day, and now we have the sideways consolidation. But you notice that 8-day, how strong that is, okay? Friday got above it, couldn't hold it. Today got above it, so far, couldn't hold it. Okay, so upside, looking at 40.30 level. Then we'll look to Friday's high, 40.59. Then we're looking right there at that 40.99. Now, you got to give above that. Then we can start hitting this level right here at that 41.75, and then work yourself all up to that 43.98. Again, we got to see what the reaction is, but you got to get above that 8-day, got to get above that 21-day. Now, downside, you're watching Friday's low, okay, 39.82. Today's low, 39.71, and then work your way down, 39.25, look right there, 39.01, and then we have the old 50-day at 38.62 level, okay? So that's basically what you have, but until we get above that 8-day and the 21-day, this could go sideways, kind of an action situation, anytime you're below that 8-day. Now, this is sitting right in the middle. This is not overbought, oversold. The green is below the red. You can see the momentum onto the downside, and that's exactly what you have. So we got to get that to curl up, but you got to get above the 8-day and the 21-day. Then I will jump into GLD. It might be a little bit late. Don't care. And then we can ride it up to these levels here and maybe possible retest. Okay, silver, where we got the ping pong action going here, the 21-day on the high side and the 8-day on the low side, and we're holding that 8-day, okay? Very, very nice, but look out here, okay? Into it, into it, into it, boom, 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 into it, nothing so far. Okay, so downside, watch 47.90, very, very key. Then we'll come down to the bottom here, 47.09. We'll come down there, 46.92, 46.05, and then we'll come down to the bottom of that candle at 45.51, which lines up very, very nice with the 50-day at 45.51 level. Okay, upside, very, very simple, 21-day. You got to get above it. You get above it, then we can start hitting these targets right here. This is what you're looking at 49.22 level. Okay, then we come down to the bottom there at 49.66. We have 50.08. Then you work yourself up, 51.61. We have 51.83 level. Then we have 52.63, and then 53.76. That's the big retest. But you got to close above that at 21-day in order to do that. Now, we lose that 8-day. Your big target's going to be is a test of that 50-day. Okay, we close above that 21-day. Big target's going to be is 53.76. So how I trade this is I am patient and I am waiting, sitting on my hands on this, waiting for a close above silver, above the 21-day. If it closes above it, then I will jump into the SLV and I'll hit all these levels until we maybe have a possible retest of 53.76 level. Okay, now RSI, well, you're sitting at 51, it's right in the middle. The green is below your red, it's just showing really a whole lot of nothing here. We just have sideways action. You're going to need some kind of a news, some kind of a catalyst to take these either higher or lower. All right, let's take a look at the old crude ski here. All right, we look here at crude ski, and what do we have here? We have a descending chart, okay, situation. All right, so let's just see what we got to shake out. Now, OPEC had their meeting over the weekend, and they're still adding 136,000 barrels a day in November. But as of December, they are going to shut that rate off. They're not adding anything. They're not taking anything away. They're just going to go flatline with it to see how it all works out. But it looks like every article I'm reading here, it looks like a possible big glut going into 2006. So let's just see how that's going to work out, okay? So again, we had this double top situation, sold right off. We broke that, and then we went to the upside. But you notice we had tried 3 times and couldn't get above the 50-day. Now we're hanging right around this 8-day. This is very, very key. So this is going to be key support, 60.94. There's key support at 59.94, okay? So 8-day, again, just watch that 8-day at 60.94. And the 21-day at 59.94, okay? Then we come down to the bottom of that candle at that 59.64 level. Then we can come over top of there. You're looking at 59.11. We come top of there at 58.08. And then we come to the bottom, 57.34. We have 56.35. And we have the retest of 55.96, okay? That's your downside action. But again, you have to lose that 8-day and 21-day. Then your big target is that 55.96, okay? Upside, very simple, right there, 50-day. You got to get and close above that. Then you can hit that 62.92 level. We come up there, we hit that 63.26 level. Then we come up and we hit that 100-day at 64.21, the 200-day 65.29, and possible retest right there at that 66.42. Now, again, as I pointed out here, left shoulder, right shoulder, and head. So what we have is an inverse head and shoulders pattern here. If it plays out, big if, it's possible that it does play out, then the target is going to be that 66.42 retest, okay? Now, if we lose that 8-day and that 21-day, that negates that pattern, and we will shoot down to that 55.96 level. Right here, sitting pretty much in the middle, right there in the middle, no man's land, but really, you got about another probably 5-6 weeks here. This crude oil just is not in play. Summer driving is done. Okay, so let's just see how that shakes out, because usually crude will be selling off here about the first week of December. Then you want to go long for the first couple days till January, and then it's kind of flat. And in February, you want to buy it up going into the summer driving. Alrighty, let's take a look here now at natural gas. All right, here we have natural gas. Now, when we're down here, I said it's never going to stay down here in this 2-3 range. It's going to pop up here, and I think we're going to retest this 490 level. Now, we had this contract roll, and that kind of throws the charts a little off of balance here, and we just move right on up kind of a situation. So let me big this up here a little bit there. All right, now you're talking. Okay, so here we go. So we're outside this price channel, so you got to be a little bit careful on here. So what I'm doing is just trading the UNG today, okay? It's like I traded it today, got as low as 13.25, high as 13.82 level, okay? So that worked out very good. Actually, I got 45 cents out of it today. I'm trading 5,000 shares, so that worked out very, very nicely. I'm out of the trade right now, okay? So I'm going to wait and see what the futures say, and we'll see how that all goes. But the key to me is we're outside the price channels. We got up here, we're to an overbought situation, and we're getting the same way there. Now, again, this is a little bit tricky because we had the gap up, okay? So if you're trading like UNG or any ETFs, okay, it's not going to reflect that in this because that was the contract roll, okay? So what we're looking for here on the downside, we want to look to Friday's high, looking at that 415 level. Then we'll come to the top of there at 407. Then when you work yourself all the way down here, you got 401. We'll come over top of that candle, you're looking at 386 level. Then we look to the bottom there. There's your gap fill. There's your gap at 375, okay? Then we have 368, your 8-day. Then we have your 200-day sitting right there at that 345. And then we have the gap fill all the way down here at 343, okay? So you have a gap and a fill, but we got the 8-day and the 200-day right there up just above that, okay? Now, on the upside, what you're doing today, we hit this high of 429. Very, very nice. So I said, we'll look to the left of the chart here. What do we have? 4.15. We went above that. Okay. Then we next level there, 4.25. We went sitting right there right now. And then now your next level, it keeps on running. We're going to go 437. Okay. We'll come up here at 442. and then we'll come up there at 447, and then we have 455, and then we have 458, and then we have the big retest there at 490. Okay, so that is your upside action. Now, this is all pulling in here because of the weather. Now, where I am, it's a little cool here. It's about 53 degrees today. Really, really windy. We had a lot of big rain last night. Again, so people are turning on their stoves. Not stoves, but their boilers or their furnaces or whatever. Okay, and you start and use the natural gas. You're coming into this playtime here until probably about the end of November. So for me, because of the contract roll, I'm just trading it daily. Other than that, if it didn't have that contract roll where it just gapped up, I would have been just say long all the way through. But I just trading this daily, and it's bringing in some good revenue. Okay, so just got to be a little bit cautious. So again, just watch today's high at that 429 level. Then everything you need to know is sitting right here as far as the resistance. Now again, I got this all printed out for you right at the end of this video, so it's easy. So I just take it, print it off, and there we go. That's all your targets for the upside and for the downside. Alrighty, that's what I got for you. Now remember, a lot of earnings. Palantir's here is after the close today. It's rallying up here. You're up about 3%. It's up over $5. Tesla's having a good rally there today. The TQQs, my TQQs is working very, very good. That's up $1.25. Amazon is working up 10. Nvidia is working. That's up about 5. So a lot of really, really good trades. Now again, watch out for turnaround Tuesday because it could be to the downside. You know what I'm saying? And then it could reverse. So again, but I think right now we're really through the bad period. You might have some tax selling, but realistically, any sell-off is a buying opportunity. All right, trade what's in front of you, not what you want.